Just have to make sure we can see everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Welcome, councillors, to our Warren Shire Council January 2024 meeting. Declare the meeting open. Warren Shire Council acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands within the Warren Shire and acknowledges the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who reside within the Shire. Councillors, I call for apologies for this meeting. We have a number noted. The General Manager,
Councillor McCloskey, Councillor Jackson and Councillor Walker.
Councillor Taylor, happy to move. Second, Councillor Bruce. Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Councillors, it's with a great degree of sadness that we recognise the passing of Councillor Ron Higgins, valued member of this council. Councillor Higgins started his work in association with Warren Shire Council in 1987. Mature age plumbing apprentice. Continued to work as a council employee from 1993, so giving 25 years of service to this council in an employed role. Councillor Higgins then became a councillor in 2016 until his passing. He was a valued member of a number of committees: Showground Racecourse, Roads, Plant, and particularly Water and Sewerage, where his expertise was well used as chair of that committee. Council and councillors extend their sympathy to his wife Helen, children Chris, Rebecca and Anthony, and note that he will be sadly missed from our community for the things he did. Councillor, whether you might join me in a few moments' silence as we remember Councillor Ron Higgins. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor, just for the record, Councillor Higgins' funeral will be at the Catholic Church this coming Wednesday, 31st of January, commencing at 10:30 a.m. Council is of course invited to attend, and council staff are very much invited to attend. Their attendance would very much be appreciated by the family. Thank you. Councillors, to item 4 of our business paper, the confirmation of minutes of our ordinary meeting held on Thursday the 7th of September. Someone happy to move those minutes as a true and accurate record of that meeting? Councillor Whiteley. Second. Councillor Kinsey. Councillor Whiteley.
Yeah, I would recommend the minutes to council. I think they're a fair and accurate record of me.
We might just have to amend that. Councillor Kinsey, I don't think you voted that meeting. We might just look for an alternate seconder. Councillor Bruce is happy to second. Thank you, Councillor Kinsey. Thank you, Councillor Bruce. Sorry, Councillor Whiteley, you. Anything further to add to your comments then?
I asked for any comment from councillors, but yeah, no comment.
Nothing further, councillor. Put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Sorry, Councillor Kinsey, you had something, a comment.
I'd like to give an apology to that. That's not the end.
And can we amend that just as...
I'm sorry, wrong. I'm looking at the wrong page.
Right. Okay, we're all happy with that. Councillor, happy, Councillor Kinsey? Yep. Councillor, we'll put that again just for clarity. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to item 5, disclosures of interest. I don't know that any disclosures of interest have been registered under this meeting, gentlemen.
No, not to my knowledge.
No disclosures of interest. I have no mayoral minutes. Moving on to item 7, reports from committees. The first of those, well, the only one of those being the meeting of the Managed Committee held on the 16th of January. Somebody happy to move that report? Councillor Brewer, you happy to move? Thank you. Second? Councillor Taylor, Councillor Brewer.
Simply moving the recommendation.
Thank you.
Mr Mayor, on page 5 of the minutes, we're just engineering service department staff are just making sure that they're trying to work out all the works, the claims, the assessments of all our flood damage, just to get them trying to summarise. There is a chance that on page 5, there's a chance that 1,086,000 is included in the 10.32. We're still trying to work that out. And there may still be some others that go on top that are missed in that $10.329 million that are being tidied up. If anyone has any photographs of the damage on the industrial access road, particularly down that end, Councillor Whiteley, I believe you've got some photographs of the inside the levee. Remember, there was lots of water banked up because everything was closed. If you've got some photographs, send it things to us, please. We're just wanting to make sure that we get as much money as possible for Shire 91 industrial access road.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding the minutes of the next meeting? Nothing further, we'll put that all those in favour. Against? Carried. Moving on to reports of the delegates. First of those being the meeting deadline interagency support services. Looking for a mover and second there. Councillor Derrick's happy to move. Second. Councillor Taylor. Councillor Derrick.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. Just clarifying that Councillor Walker did provide this report. I have the easier job of chairing the meeting, so thank you to Councillor Walker for taking the minutes for me. As always, a lot of good information was shared at the meeting. I don't have anything further to add, but happy to address any questions that anyone may have. Thank you.
Any further comments or questions regarding the interagency? Councillor Lewis.
Sorry, I just noticed in the Mary Smalls Aboriginal health worker, Dr. Conray is actually Dr. Conray.
The other one, I'm just look, a positive promotion of kidney dialysis, see if we can get that happening again. That seems to be everything. Jez Rani has resigned, Dr. Jez Rani resigned from the Warren Medical Centre. Is that matter raised and how are we seeing that from the medical centre's point of view? Are we seeing anything, Councillor Derrick?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So this was just something that was noted from the hospital staff. So there wasn't a representative from the medical centre at the meeting. So this is from multi-purpose health service side.
Yep.
Just a matter that was noted.
Yep.
No, not particular concern about that.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding the agency support services minutes?
Just a couple of questions from there. Councillor Derrick, did you end up hearing anything from Transport New South Wales about trying to submit that survey? What was it?
Oh, thank you. Yes, that was not really what I thought that it might be, and it was more aligned with promoting cycleways and walking routes, not particularly of relevance to regional or small towns. So no, that wasn't. It wasn't very helpful. I did manage to complete the survey, but it wasn't anything particularly helpful to our purposes, fortunately. Thanks.
Mr Mayor, we watch closely at some of those grants, but unfortunately they're starting to become reasonably not like what we produce, like almost 4 metre wide roads, not cycleways and things. And we can't afford to add in some of the percentages, and that's what you found. Hopefully our cycleways and walkways will get a resale very, very soon. We don't need to worry about them for some time. Because that's the problem, it just becomes an asset that costs us a reasonable amount of money.
Thank you. Any further, Councillor Brisbane? Anything further, councillors, on the Interagency Support Services minute? Nothing further, put that all those in favour. It's carried. Item 2, reports to delegates, the annual general meeting of the mining and energy-related councils, and I guess we might be able to move item 3 as well, the ordinary meeting of the mining and energy-related councils together. Someone happy to move both items 2 and 3? Thank you. Councillor Bruce is happy to move. Second, Councillor Derrick. Councillor Bruce.
Just happy to move it, and just if the general manager has any comments on it.
No. Do both of them separately in the sense that Bruce and Derek on both of them. Is that what we're doing? Mr. Chair?
Yes.
There will be a lot more work starting to come out of Merck because of the new regime of trying to manage the watch of interest. And to see whether they are still relevant to us.
You're making a financial contribution to that already.
Reasonable amount, yeah.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding the annual general meeting of the mining and energy related councils and the ordinary meeting of the mining and energy related councils? Nothing further. We'll put both items 2 and 3 to the meeting. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 4, the report to those. First, the next one being the meeting of the Alliance of Western Councils board held on the 8th of September, which is some little time ago now, but we haven't had a chance to get that to you. I'm happy to move that. Seconder, Councillor Garrett.
Congratulate Mr. Mayor for being elected as Deputy
Chair. Yes, onerous task. General Manager. Look, the meeting was reasonably well attended. The minutes are there for you to read. Speakers, in terms of politicians, 0, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A while ago. Yeah.
And even staff are politicians.
Yeah.
Eventually, hopefully we'll get local members coming along. What will happen is the state government ministers will realise that we're actually worthy of having a good discussion with. So the same way as we had a good discussion with the Minister Regional Transport and Roads here, they'll start to come out and meet with the Alliance and make the Alliance much more applicable.
I think the interesting one was perhaps the threat of cyber security. There's something that's potentially beyond the scope of this council to deal with effectively, and Dubbo have done a reasonable amount of work in that space. Our understanding is that they were willing to help and share their expertise with the Alliance of Western Councils, just to help us all get up to speed with where we need to go, which is just really is the purpose in many ways of this Alliance of Western Councils. The bigger councils have got some flexibility, capability, as in the Midwestern and Dubbo councils can help us out to a certain extent. So it's just by being there, it's valuable to see what they can do to help us. Beyond that, I did ask the Victoria Grant, the Inspector General of Water Compliance, about the take they have on, instead of being policemen so much as encouraging people to do the right thing in terms of water compliance, and noted, particularly Councillor Whiteley's concerns that often compliance issues are more related to roadblocks in the New South Wales state government or other departments, and they give those who are required to comply with legislation a bad name, and it's not because of their intention to not do the right thing, it's because of state government's inadequacy in dealing with problems in terms of road closures and et cetera, and closure permits, paper roads, etc., those sorts of things. So took that on board, and he understands very much. He's quite conciliatory, in my view, about how those sort of things should be dealt with. And I needed to point out to him that your people need to say that there's 97% of people who are doing the right thing, it's only 3%, instead of the other way around, and took that on board. Something that they should promote as opposed to denigrate people, the few people who do the wrong thing. I think that was probably, from our point of view, part of the meeting. Councillor Happy, any questions, comments regarding the last Western Council's minutes? Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 5, do order meeting the Macquarie, Castlereagh Macquarie County Council. Someone happy to move that? Councillor Kinsey's happy to move. Second, Councillor Whiteley. Councillor Kinsey.
Yeah, it was a fairly good meeting, Mr Mayor. I feel we got a lot achieved, and what's going to happen come out of it. That says here in the draft that Councillor Whiteley suggested that we have a field day at Warren for actually box form. Council actually overwhelmingly agreed to that, and it's happening early in March. So we'll have a meeting here, Castlereagh meeting, and then go out to wherever the site's going to be. I don't believe that's been sorted yet, has it? So that's going to happen. I think it was the 4th of March, I'm not too sure about that. So that was pretty good. Apparently we've found some rust type thing that will attack this active box form, but it's hopefully it will stop it from reproducing itself, but it won't kill the plant. It's a bloody change indeed. So apart from just usual stuff, that was probably pretty well the highlights of the meeting. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
So that will be advertised for landholders to come and see what, after your meeting, sorry.
Yeah.
That's right, we'll meet here, and then after that, there'll be a field day type situation that
That's correct.
farmers, graziers can attend.
Well, we intend to put it on the TV to advertise it.
Yep.
And local papers and flyers and whatever.
Yep.
And they probably think that actually they're thinking about putting on another one at Canaan or something as well. Just because the problem with this boxthorn is that people are trying to kill it and they're not doing it properly. So the idea is to get the information out there, this is how you do it, and you'll get a result.
Yep.
The plant can take the poison in, but it shocks itself, and it lives through it, and goes, oh, so,
Know what you're saying. Councillor White.
Yeah, I'll just make that up. The biosecurity has been released by the CSIRO for application now. It's publicly available. We just need to advertise this. We're all aware, but we've had 3 reasonable winters in a row, and Vauxhall's gone because the biosecurity, as Councillor Kinsey said, just stops the berry. That doesn't actually kill the plant, but it stops the spread of it. And as Councillor Kinsey said, education, oxon control, more is worse, if you know what I mean. The plant will shut down naturally in a drought situation. If you hit it with an over-strength rated chemical, it shuts down and doesn't die, whereas less is best.
In terms of publicity for that, is that the sort of thing that Prime 70 is obviously with you, as in, it goes without good, that's probably true. Yes, yeah, good, if there be someone close to you that might be able to help.
As senior, Mr Mayor, our senior biosecurity officer, Andrew Fletcher, from Coonabarabran, will be coordinating this in the next 3 to 4 weeks. For contractors, for anyone.
Yeah, no, that's very good. A problem that being addressed is excellent. Any further comments, questions regarding the minutes of the South Macquarie County Council meeting? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to our items of policy, and we have one item of policy to address is the investment policy, and it's a review of our current investment policy with a couple of minor amendments from the way I read it. Someone happy to move that recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Whiteley. Second, Councillor Kinsey. Councillor Whiteley.
Council, I would commend this to you and ask Director Finance to comment on the changes and comment on the policy.
Manager of Finance Administration, just an update on those changes. Thank you.
Basically, the changes to that policy were very minor. Key items were just wording around the regulations from updating from 2005 to 2021 reflection. So minor things like that. Added another bit of compliance to ensure that council references and has it specifically worded to meet requirements for TCOR, given our borrowings, and future borrowings with them, investments and so forth. They have certain conditions where we have to notify them and update them on this particular policy and its change, and report back certain financial performance and ratios and things so they can keep an eye on us and assess council's deemed level of risk to them in borrowing land. So otherwise the policy meets the ministerial guidelines, investment orders. It was updated in 2020, right? And it's compliant, meets all of our regulatory obligations. So council obviously just having term deposits, cash investments, the counterparty limits, it's in the policy, it's very reasonable, very risk averse, I'll say. It's really about all I can say.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions on the policy matter? Councillor
I know in the recommendation, I think alternation should be alteration. Maybe we just fix that. It's just a small thing.
Thank you, Councillor Brewer. Excuse me. Anything further on item 1 in the policy area to do with the investment policy? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to reports of the General Manager, the first of those being the outstanding reports checklist. Council, there's a number of items there that we might go through, and I might just ask the General Manager to go through and with the concurrence of this meeting will be asterisked a number of those, so they're on our business paper there. We just might go through each of those. General Manager, you're happy to just move through those?
Nothing on page 1. We moved nothing on page 2. Same page 3. 4, then Christmas closure, stuff on page 5 gone, the economic development strategy and action plan, matters pertaining to that gone. Then from the last two on page 6 is the preparation for the Destination Quarry Masters Task Force.
Sorry, excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
This one.
We need to move for a second.
We have, that's exactly, thank you. My apologies. Thank you very much, Councillor Terry. Thank you, Joe. Sorry, you do need to move in a second, right, on one of the general managers' report, the standard report, check it. Councillor Derrick, you're happy to move that, thank you for that. Councillor Taylor, Councillor Derrick.
Yes. As we were. Thank
As
you.
we were, yes, thank you. I'm getting in front of myself. Thank you, Councillor
Very
Derrick.
quick.
Yes.
So the coffee setup has been organised at the VIC. Then onto page 8, the Western Division Conference resolution's been noted, just waiting for us to be invited, and we then know what to do. Hopefully that will come in the next couple of months. Then we're moving to page 12 and to the next one, which is the where we have the new water trailer is at the depot getting tidied up, waiting for the new second-hand truck to turn up. We hope within the next first week of February. That's why it's asterisked. Quarry agreement has been organised on the bottom of page 13. It's organised. Neil's are moving to probably do some work in mid-February. Then on page 15, the second resolution concurrence with the Commonwealth Government Department's been obtained from moving that money around to Shire at 62 Railway Sheeting, and same with the rugby club has said yes to the $10,000 donation for contribution to the lights at Victoria Oval. All the contracts were organised, so everyone relating to the contracts for regional procurement are all done and dusted, tidied up, and that should be. I'll continue. And that's it. Thank you. Might be some other query.
Yeah, there might be
Status
status
of things.
status of things. So I just wanted the division make so the second-hand truck was, you're happy with that? Do you want to just expand a little bit, or is it that more appropriate in the plant committee?
No, that's it.
In this one, yeah, happy. So you purchased a second-hand truck to replace the pull the water cart that was tipped over. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the truck is to replace the truck that had an accident on Shire Road. Our staff have gone and test driven the proposed new truck. It's a Mack truck. It's newer than the one that we had before.
Okay.
Yes, but
the bar wasn't high, if I recall.
yes, but it's still second hand, and staff have advised that it's in good condition. I think if I'm the kilometers on it is around about 400,000. They advise that it's a good truck. So, like the general manager said, we expect it sometime in a week or two.
Put a road train to big enough to put a road train.
Excellent. And the question that I don't know who might be able to answer, we just seem to be having ongoing problems with the amenities block down at Carter Oval, appearing to be slowly working our way through those, but I wonder if we might just get a little update on.
So there's 162 cubic metre slab poured, and by the looks that was all too much for them. And so the surface is not as flat as we'd like, and the contractor's working on remedying the, and of course we made sure that there was a fair amount of curing going on, because the foundation won't move because it's that big. There's some general tidy ups, so when we're making sure that it's all watered down, that's where we can see that there's some ponding, and that that's when the contractor will be fixing that up by various methods that we will approve to make sure. We've hinted that tiling in the area will be better, but there may be other solutions that might be reasonable.
I'd have to suggest that our infrastructure projects manager has been very diligent in looking after this, all these projects, but on this one, and just making sure that these contractors are doing the best job that they can, but I believe we've been let down again by the quality of the work that's been done there. But the thickness of the slab means that things not going to move and break. That's a big starting point of view, but we need to have it the way we would like to see it finished, done properly. So,
and all 35, 36, 30, 38, 40 MPa results after 28 days.
So the compression tests are pretty handy compared to getting single digits almost in some of them initially in the peers. So at least the foundations would appear to be solid enough, if nothing else. I just wanted Council to raise that so that you're up to speed if someone's asking you questions about it. We're fully aware, and our infrastructure project manager will be right on these contractors, making sure that every little bit is done better. Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 1 of the general manager's checklist? Outstanding of the checklist? Nothing further. Put that all those in favour. Against? Carried. Moving on to the reports of the committees and delegates. Meetings. Hang on, that was. Yes, it is. I'm just just a list of them. Looking for a piece of paper. In recognition of one being a healthy town and to give awareness of a healthy lifestyle, Council will be standing while dealing with item 2 of the General Manager's report, that being the committee and delegates meetings. Now, is someone happy to move that? Thank you, Councillor Kinsey. Second, Councillor Driss. Councillor Kinsey.
I met with one lady at Castle Road Macquarie here at Warren on the 4th of March.
6th of March.
Sorry. Monday. 6th of. Yeah, right, sorry about that. Thank you, Councillor Whiteley.
So what I want to try to point out is the second page of the business paper is your meetings. So if it's on there, we don't mark it in this. Jody, is that correct? If it's on there, we don't put it into here until after the fact, isn't it? Is that correct?
I think that it should be included in that list as being held.
Yes.
Yeah, but not in the future agenda, if it's on the schedule.
Yeah. If it's been held, it'll get into the list. But if for future meetings we don't do it because it's in there.
So yes, the heading actually says future meetings, not
on meeting schedule, and that's the meeting schedule.
Yeah, the meeting schedule's on now. Early on in the order opening the meeting. So, councillors, I just draw your attention to the fact that Australia Day, it's mentioned there, the committee's met, but just Australia Day, obviously tomorrow. Just love to see as many councillors present as is possible. Councillor Taylor is chairing that committee, and We'll have our Australia Day Ambassador, Tasman Tasm, in town later this evening, and we'll take him to dinner and make sure that he's comfortable and welcome in mind. Any further comments, questions regarding item 2 of the general manager report, the committee and delegates meeting? Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Item 3 of the reports of the manager, the works progress reports regarding infrastructure projects. Someone happy to move the resignation, information received notice. Thank you, Councillor Bruce is happy to move it. Second, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Bruce.
Yes, happy to move it, and I just want to comment, I went out to a mural on Barrow on the 12th of January, the murals on the new toilet block, and it looks fantastic. There was a great roll-up with a lot of the Parker relatives there, and it was lovely to see the Parker unveil it. So a lot of good yarns, a lot of clay, and also had a quick squeeze in the female toilets, and that looks fantastic. And it'd be a great facility when it's all finished.
Mr Mayor, and we believe we come under budget with the toilets too. So, some other septic stuff which is part of it will get done, which is really some positive news.
We might. Just one comment on that. I'd like to publicly congratulate the local contractors that did that job to budget, as the general manager said, and the standard of work. Comparing that to some of the other outside contractors that come to town, I think they should be probably congratulated.
Thank you, Councillor White. General Manager, do you want to go through there are a number of items asterisks with the concurrence of the mover and the seconder? They just done as a given?
Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah. So what will happen is the next meeting, I hope the guys will tidy everything up, particularly Shogun Racecourse, so actually people see, because the budgets for the toilets are all over the place. We're using all the money that's left over, and that'll all get tidied up so everyone will see what's happened. Asterisks are really for the staff to work out what gets removed and tidied up for the next report. But as an example, the Carter Oval lighting projects on page 27, the Shire, swim and shade sails are finished. On the next page 28, the Carter Oval cricket pitch is finished, and striking well, we believe. The turf we're talking about. Pony Club cross-country facilities at Shogun Racecourse complete. In the middle of page 29, you've got the part of the renovate male toilet. That was the first bit of allocation that on bottom of page 31 started to help pay for the new toilet block at Shogun Racecourse. Fair amount of tidy ups. The top of page 32. Then you have onto page 35. You've got the Murray-Darling Basin. The murals completely finished. There's probably some extra costs still to come on because all that 16,580 is gone. The bird viewing platform is complete at Monkey Guard Creek. The tennis court work is complete because the allocation's been just used now, gone. That's on the top of page 36. Even though it says there's $24,587 spent on the Christmas party, that 45,000 is all gone, finished. Central Business District, the toilets are finished with a little bit of a saving. Same thing with the Lions Park toilet. installation on top of page 37. A few little tidy ups in the middle of the facilities at the pool. Hopefully it'll progress after this council meeting. The continuing on. So
Unsuccessful grant deal.
Yeah, unsuccessful grant. We thought, Mr. Mayor, we had a good idea with the Women's Week grant. We'll continue with that because that was going to take advantage of women of Warren Shire with the youth women of Warren Shire, and we'll continue to try to get a grant that has a quality couple of speakers and some mentoring of 12 to 18-year-old girls in Warren Shire, being done by the women of Warren Shire. That's what that was about, and that's about it.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions on item 3, the Court's progress report pertaining to infrastructure projects? Nothing further. We'll put that all those in favour. Against? Carried. On to item 4, disclosures of interest matter and designated persons. Item 4, the report of the General Manager. Someone have to move that recommendation. Councillor Taylor, you have to move. Thank you. Councillor Bruce. Councillor Taylor.
Move recommendations.
Yeah,
Like 12 September, 12 February, you mentioned.
Sorry, no, this is
this is the Bluey, the designated persons. I put in a new designated persons because of a change of circumstances. Make sure that an interest is changed. A good example is that every council needs to make sure that they're very, very careful with the same. So designated persons and councillors is the blue form which I fill in. If, for example, if you go and buy $5,000 worth of shares in company X and you haven't got it on your thing, put a new blue in detailing and updating things. If there's a change of circumstances of employment of your spouse or whatever, do the same thing just in case. This is an example that I'm giving. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions on item 4? Nothing further. Put that all those in favour. Against? Carried. Item 5, the September 2024 council meeting. The recommendation, the council, and I do not put something out. So I'll look for a mover in a second, and then you might have a comment. Yep. I just have a mover and a seconder for the recommendation. Councillor Whiteley's happy to move. Councillor Bruce, you're happy to second. Councillor Whiteley, the gentleman just has a comment before perhaps you comment.
Councillor Whiteley, we've put in a second recommendation because my delegations only go to September, and we don't have a September council meeting. My delegations need to be extended to when the council gives me new delegations, and that's what that does. And at least the required reporting in October. So it gives us 2 chances to report my delegations being redone to the extraordinary meeting in October or the October one.
Mr. Mayor, I understand and I appreciate the reasoning behind this. The gentleman wants to comment further on you.
I just think it's unfortunate that it takes so long to get to a result when we've got, 2,000 electors or whatever it is. Yeah, it's a sad, might be sad indictment on the electoral commission.
So, question, Mr. Mayor, historically, the electoral commission didn't run some of our council elections. We did it ourselves. Is that historic?
It did occur. but became a very onerous task in the things that you need, the hoops, as you can imagine, the hoops you needed to jump through to get that done. The cost when we moved on to the electoral commission doing the election was not significant. Now it's become more significant, and the time frame has, instead of being relatively short, is now lengthened. If you're questioning whether we should be back into that space, I think that's a matter for the next council to consider. It's a bit too late in the day for us to even consider that one, but I think there's not many councils in New South Wales who don't use the electoral commission.
It's now a real worry. It costs us money, but they're the experts. Sadly, the legislation and changes just extend out an election period. We are Blacktown, where there'll be 30,000, could be 50,000, even more postal votes. I think last time there might have been 10 postal votes we're waiting on.
Yeah, insignificant. Yeah, nonetheless, that's where we sit, and recommendation there is in front of it in terms of dealing with that, with the two points, items 1 and 2 points 1 and 2 in item 5. Any further comments, questions regarding that matter? Nothing further, we'll put that all over in favour. Yes, carried. Moving on to the reports of the Division Management Finance Administration. The first of those being the reconciliation certificate. So I'm happy to move item 1, the Division Management Finance Administration report. Councillor Whiteley, Councillor Drews. Councillor Whiteley.
I move the report to council, and the divisional manager feels like commenting. I asked him to do so.
In the prior meeting, from memory, I noted there was a bit of a hold up with some returned investments from the NAB that we have invested directly with them. Just as a note, the movement from November to December in the investment bank account balance from 9.2 down to 3.2 is effectively due to that movement. They finally gave us the money back, even though they were a couple of months late in doing so. It was about a month. And I've now engaged with the use of much easier method of getting investments out there. So from my perspective, everything is looking good in that area. We're compliant. About the only thing of note further, unless there are other questions, is to make more use of this revised method of getting investments out there through Curve Securities and increase our level of invested funds. So, another $3 or $4 million going out. I was literally just looking at it a minute ago. So, increase our investment portfolio and make the most of whatever available rates are there.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 1, the Division Manager of Finance Administration's report? Nothing further, put that all those in favour. Against, carried. Item 2, statement of rates and annual charges. Someone have to move the recommendation there. Thank you, Councillor Brewer. Who's happy to move? Councillor Kinsey, second. Councillor Brewer.
As for the recommendation, thank you. There's not a lot to discuss it. It's all in front of us there.
Thank you. Any comments, questions on item 2, Division Manager Finance Administration's report?
Thank you, sir. Just one apology. In the paragraph listed in the report as report, a bit of a typo, it still reflects the 8th of November 2023 in text. It should read the 10th of January as reflected in the rest of the report, 10th of January 2024. So the figures and details are correct, it's just that one wording with an oversight on my behalf, apologies for that. Confused anybody? Following some conversation in the last council meeting with regard to the recoverable aspect of rates and percentages, how we sit compared to previous years, even as at the end of last financial year where we see that 3% of movement. I've actually spoken to a debt recovery firm recently and looking to sort of get some additional external support in trying to recover rates and investigating into the future possible list of the section 713 sale of land for overdue rates. So hopefully I don't feel that that percentage is anything of concern, but I believe we'll see some movement there. Of note as well, there's been a couple of larger overdue rates recovered recently, which might reflect in this percentage recovered into the future, purely by sales in the area. So that's a positive as well.
Councillor Bruce.
So with that, how long do you give them? Is it over a couple of years, or is it in the one financial year if they're overdue? How long do you give them?
So my experience suggests that I would give somebody, it's case by case obviously, so if I was to pick it up today and start debt recovery, if I had somebody who was a couple of instalments overdue, I'd be looking to have them cover that arrears and keep up with their remaining current year's rates and have it finalised by the end of the financial year or within the 12 months. Otherwise, if they have quite a large outstanding debt, then it needs to be something within their capacity to pay, but ideally at least covering their current year's rates and then what we consider as reasonable in that after, whether that be a lump sum payment or that with an ongoing commitment to pay X amount a week, might be 12 months, might be 2 years to get it back up to speed, but yeah.
Historically, Councillor Bruce, we've tried to help ratepayers get out of their difficulties by implementing some sort of plan that works for us and them. We're not, people get under a fair pressure, particularly during a very difficult drought time, for instance, and if we can help facilitate an end result that works for everyone, that's where we sit, not with too much with the big stick sort of approach.
I think the legislation is that properties can start to be sold up after 5 years. 5 years.
If it's vacant land, it's when there's at least 5 years rates on. If it's occupied, if it's when the same. But if it's vacant land, the additional thing is when the overdue rates exceeds the value of the land. Also sold up. There's a lot of other things you can do well before that.
Councillor, any further comments, questions regarding item 2, the Commission Manager Finance Administration report? Nothing further, put that, all those in favour? Against, carried. Item 3, Commission Manager Finance Administration report pertaining to the Works Progress report. Someone have to move that recommendation? Councillor Whiteley's happy to move. Councillor Kinsey, second. Councillor Whiteley.
I've read the report and comment of the 6th of February library finish. Question.
Mr. Mayor, the inspection days are done.
Yeah, I believe so. And I guess the only exception to that date would be the landscaping and what have you.
Yeah, late February, maybe the first week of March.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, that by the end of February, the library will be back in the library.
First from, I believe, from the 5th or 6th of February. But between the librarian and infrastructure project manager, the world will be told. They just need to make sure that it's
That's
right. And she needs to make sure she's got a few other little, the librarian's got a few other little things she's tidying up inside too, before she moves back.
Yeah, it's, that project has gone relatively smoothly, is my understanding, so tick on that particular project and knows that particular operator.
Yeah. So not.
Yes, we'll talk later. Yep. Any further comments or questions on item 3, Efficient Management Finance Administration Report? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour, against, carried. Item 4 is to do with the 2024-25 Operation Plan and Estimates timetable. Someone happy to move the recommendation there? Councillor Timothy is happy to move. Second, Councillor Derrick. Councillor
Just moving the recommendation, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor will, if council resolves this, when they start to get bookings for the workshop and all sorts of things, yeah.
So you'll see the process there on the first page, just to understand on the page, to understand the processes that are going to occur there. So, yep, adoption of this, and then we start that process moving forward. Any further comments, questions regarding item 4? Nothing further. We'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Now, item 5, which has been tabled, which is the December 3 quarterly review.
So, Mr. Mayor, a good summary by the managers on page 13 of this report.
We just need someone, a mover and a seconder first, and then we can move to that. Councillor Bruce is happy to move. Second, Councillor Derrick, thank you. Councillor Bruce.
Move the recommendation, pass this on to the finance manager.
Yeah, I think we just get some comment on that, the summary of the adjustments there, because this is all relatively new in front of us. I wonder if the Manager of Finance Administration would just go through that summary and just an explanation on those particular. Thank you.
So just on this, firstly, apologies for the delay in getting this out to council. It's been a bit of a cumbersome exercise in a short time frame, but we got there. We'll move this process for the next occasion.
The March one will be a big one to tidy things up and with every manager reporting to the visual managers, understanding and helping the visual manager finance make sure March is as perfect as possible.
So just in regard to these adjustments, every item in here has been reported to council prior. So I guess whilst you're aware and familiar with these budgetary changes and movement, I guess at that stage, how it looks in terms of the operational or capital front of council from a financial perspective is what's key to understand. So we have movement, there's $25,000 needed for part of the funding of the early review. The second item, reserves fund, the reserve funds brought into the budget is the reserve income, I will figure. That was in relation to the airport development item. Just quickly getting down to that area, sorry, councillors. Just to give you an understanding, I can rattle them off in one moment. So I think in previous meetings, there was 550,000 for that's for the airport building. And out of the infrastructure reserve, there's further movement of 73,000. That was for the Victoria Oval LED lighting upgrade. And there's some additional movement in reserves for drains. So the refurbishment of 56 Gardner and number 1 Pittman, I believe. So that were all the larger areas that the movement of reserves had occurred. That was all to council by way of the individual department and section reports and approval in prior council meetings. I'm happy to field any questions on that one. The next item is as it reads, budget expense. It's to recognise that we're going to spend the money to the Victoria Oval LED lighting project. Again, the input redevelopment funds made available. Council was already aware of the movement within the water and sewer funds. So those were in particular the large adjustment for the 780,000 for the additional include evaporative pond or lagoon. Other items within the water fund were for telemetry and refurbishment of the never tiring outline fuel pumps and so forth, which council were made aware of and approved that budgetary movement prior. So there was equivalent of 160,000 in the water fund for those particular projects. I'm still working on a bit of a tidy up within water and sewer, given the movement in play there and how that impacts the fund, making sure that we can accurately reflect cash balances and not overextend or go too far. In consideration of the large outgoing of the sewer fund, for example, that 780,000, we need to be really well across that to make sure that we're not going into arrears within the fund, so to speak, and we can try and map out a plan to get it back to a sustainable level in the future. In summary, that's pretty well it, unless there's any questions or concerns.
Councillor, any questions regarding the December budget review?
Apologies, I do have a bit of an overall results capture. One key item, I guess, is bringing in the additional movement of that reserve funding and so forth. It kind of looks like it's a betterment to the overall picture for the general fund. So from original to amended budget, originally we started with a $21.6 million surplus and we moved to 24.1 surplus. However, when you consider the overall capture, and this is important to consider, it's across all funds, so you can really start to see the impact of the operational and capital spends across those minor funded areas. We moved from an overall operating and capital result across all funds of about $4 million deficit to a revised result of $5.2 million deficit. So that's the real overall impact across all funds. It's more or less equivalent to that movement in the capital space with the large evaporative lagoon pond and so forth. Yeah. There's the old accounting scenario where you then would add back your depreciation and your more or less not much into a deficit scenario at that point. So,
Thank you. Any comments, questions regarding the December quarterly budget review? So just to be clear, what, question is, what do we have following the review? What funds do we have sitting in the water fund, the sewage fund? Where are we actually sitting on mindful of that particular pond? And then our infrastructure reserve fund, it'll be subject to a little bit of potential change when we get the whole closed council, but where are we sitting right now with those? Can you tell us those things?
within the constraint of the budget and how it reflects in terms of, say, cash field, it's a bit hard for me to translate and offer to council. That being said, the cash funds are reported every month as at a certain date, what's available within each fund through the reconciliations to the report.
So if we read to item 1 there, that's pretty much reflecting exactly where we are now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so happy to come back to council with an additional report that outlines all of that with the view, because we have gone through it. I did go through it with Raymond and other staff, and we were looking at the impact cash-wise for the sewer fund particularly, with that 780,000 taken out of it, where that left us. Apologies, I don't actually have that handy. I can bring that back to council after the meeting, if that's acceptable.
But that'll, yeah.
So, whether the police don't take this.
Yeah.
It's $2 million in the sewer fund. There's 840,000 in the water fund. But I would suggest that 780 needs to come out of.
Yeah, so that's just a figure at the end of December. So that doesn't include everything that's coming in or going out. So what we need to do is have opening cash balance indicated as at the end of June. We need to have a cash movement throughout the year as per what we budgeted for, which will give us an estimated end result. So I have done that exercise and spoken to it and worked it all out with myself and Raymond, particularly in the middle of that 780,000. I can provide that to council into the future though. It's something that I'm aware of in terms of quarterly budget review and other avenues of reporting. That cash flow statement kind of view isn't really indicated. So we can move to improving that.
And Mr. Mayor, that's one of the reasons. A good example is that we've just finalised everything for phase 1 of local roads and community infrastructure. We're expecting 50% of 655,000 to be paid, I hope, in a month. We're just waiting on the audit report from the auditors for phase 2. That's 50% of 507,000 that suddenly will get paid. We finished the terminal building at the airport. There's only between around $800,000 to $800,000 cash will be paid. And that's the next big push, is to make sure every grant that we possibly can we get paid to give you more money. Yeah. As well. And it certainly will take some time to get that 780,000 spent at the lagoons. Town services managers and division managers themselves work pretty quickly on the 80,000 Colo, the 80,000 at Carter Oval. But the 780 will take its time.
Very good. Thank you. Any further comments, questions on item 5? The Division Manager Fund Administration report, the December 4th, quarterly budget review. Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour? Against? Carried. And moving on to reports of the Divisional Manager of Engineering Services. Firstly, those being the Works Progress Report. So I'm happy to move the recommendations there. Okay, Councillor White is happy to move. Secondly, Councillor Kinsey. Thank you, Councillor White.
I commend the report to council and with due apologies for our divisional manager just arriving back to work today. If he's got any comments but upgraded, but personally looking at we're running plan, if he's got any comments.
Mr. Mayor, just a few comments. In page 6, there's bridges renewal program there. That's the 2 bridges on Warren Road. The tender information we're going to answer in the next meeting. And then just about that, gravel sheeting. You saw in the previous reports that we intend to do some gravel sheeting on Pada Road. So there we're going to target the worst section where we've received the most complaints from school bus. And then about Nevertime Organ Road rehabilitation. The project is time bound in terms of funding conditions. So we have to have started construction by April this year, and we have to have finished it by June. So that small time frame there means that we might construction might coincide with harvest season. I'm not sure about the harvest season, but it might coincide because we are, constrained.
So April to June is already, yeah. So that would be a common movement. There'll be the issue, but it won't be huge. Yeah. Good. I mean, we've got to just to bring councillors up to speed. We have a what do you call it? Logan roads and infrastructure manager in place, and he's Sylvester might bring you up to speed. He's working on that particular project, is he not?
Yes, he's working on that. He's done some scoping of culverts that might need to be replaced. He's identified 6 to 8 culverts that need to be replaced. So he's working towards ordering crown units.
We've got some culverts in the river, have we not? We can't, they're not usable.
They're usable.
They're usable.
But not enough.
Not enough, yeah. So, sorry, Councillor White, then Councillor Wood.
Are we planning to slightly realign the crossing of the Skate channel?
Yes. We've identified at least one that we need to be realigned. I don't know which one it is. I can't remember which one it is, but it's the one near that big curve.
Yeah. The other one. So we're doing we're still the same program of work to go approximately 10 kilometres in total, 8 kilometres from 2 till 10.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yes, from segment 4 to segment 10 or 8.
Beginning at 12.
Beginning at 12.
Don't get into 12.
Yeah.
Segment 12, then. 8 kilometres is 4, 6, 8, 10.
Thank you, Councillor Bruce.
So just on that, I'm sure others won't be upset if the roadworks is happening. We're just happy to see occurring. And just a question, we can't remember the segments, but in through all that timber, are there actually trees going to be removed? Because some of them are really over the road and just lopping them, they're just going to regrow anyway. So is there going to be actual tree removal along there?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we've done some environmental assessment, and in there's some very massive cultural significant trees. If you've traveled that road, you notice some pink remotes on some trees. So that means there are some current trees there. So yes, there will be some tree removal to responsible tree removal, that section.
Thank you.
Thanks. On all these things, Councillor Bruce, as you well understand. Councillor Wiley.
Question, the transfer of gravel from the Elgin pit has caused some reasonable damage on the Elgin Road. Have we got a costing figure for that? Plans how we're going to...
Two things, Mr. Mayor. We're actually hoping that the damage, there's also a little bit of damage on Rifle Range Road as well, in the causeways, and there's one culvert that might be seriously in trouble that was flood damaged. And so we're hoping to actually try to put Elgin Road damage into AGRN 1034 package 2. Same with the culverts on the damage on Rifle Range Road. If we can't, one of the big jobs will be paying for some heavy patching. And just to the council to understand the work pressure we're under, and if anyone knows anyone who's a quality worker who's looking for a job, we're trying to actually fill our crews so we can actually have 5 grader crews going. Sylvester's got Shire 91, the intersection near Old Warren Road, that area there to finish. We've got 2 intersections on Rifle Range Road, one easy because it's the Elgin Road intersection that has to be finished before the 30th of June. We have to get permission from Transport for New South Wales for the one on State Highway 11. But hoping to have that happen at the same time as we're doing heavy patching on the road right there. You've got that probably somewhere between 130 and 200,000 heavy patching on Elgin Road. That's what you're talking about. You've got your $1.417 million worth of heavy patching on the state highway, this side and that side. There is what's not contained in the report. The next one will show is a $450,000 rehabilitation job on Regional Road 202. That will add to the just over $3 million worth of flood damage on Regional Road 202 in AGRN 1034. And what we're hoping to do is cart the material and stockpile it ready to go using the $450,000 of block grant money that we've got for Regional Road 202. We're hoping to increase our flood damage in package 2 for Industrial Access Road, both near we call it Voss's End, and then on the other side of the levee and to the bridge on that side, and hopefully even add some money to Sylvester's reconstruction job that he's got near the Old Warren Road intersection. We're hoping that we can get, because that was everything was blocked off. Remember the trucks were driving through and destroying the industrial access road during the floods because there was water everywhere. We got $436,000 to be approved for Wombiana Road flood damage. We're going to get we'll call it contractors by labour to finish off. Engineering department can't do the Carter Oval for the infrastructure project manager, the car part. It's just too fiddly a job, and there's too many other big ones that are going on. We think that the Yuma Waste Depot access road flood damage could be somewhere between $110,000 and $210,000. We're waiting on a final estimate to be able to put in to Public Works Authority. that's an interesting one that we'd like to try to, our crews to be done while we're in the area. It's not far from Regional Road 282 and the heavy patching. There's the Ball Flat car park, where all the cars are parked next to the depot. That's got a little bit of money plus local roads and community infrastructure. We've got some time to get that done. A little bit of gravel shedding, urban gravel shedding around to do. A little bit of tidy up work on the entrance into Macquarie Park, and then a seal over, I'll call it to the back of the bowling club, old bowling club. That area there needs to be fixed up. Sylvester's huge $3.496 million Shire Road 58 never tied Logan. You've carted 20,000 tonnes so far out of 32,000 tonnes. Dozer should be there today pushing another 20 maybe more, 30,000 tonnes at Toucan, which you're talking about, because we have to cut that way and that way. Baker, waiting for Baker to come to that. Could have been, no, I think it's next week, because Battleline's D10 is pushing Manners. He would have started either today or yesterday, because there's flood damage up that way that they're preparing for. Sorry, I'll never pronounce it. Shire Road 62, but $170,000 for the railway sheeting. We're still working on the scope for State Highway 11, Oxy Highway, Millermore section, and that's another one that we want to get, and not someone else. Millermore. There's, as I say, there's over $3 million of flood damage on Marthabar Road, we hope. There's another package too, as I say, on Industrial Access Road that we're hoping to increase. And so far in that, there could be up to $1.1 million worth of flood damage on Regional Road 333. And Wayne Wilson's crew will eventually do that. So we're going to be very, very busy. And that's just not even starting into another half of the 1034, AGR 1034, and we'd like to fill our roads crews. So if anybody knows of any quality staff that could work hard for us, just have to be prepared to do 11 or 12-hour days.
Mr. Mayor, just on Millermore section implementation, there's some kind of like cleaning work that transport will do using their own lab staff. So we don't really have capacity for that kind of job, and we are too busy anyway. So,
Councillor Whiteley and Councillor Bruce.
Two comments. One is the Industrial Access Road on the eastern side. We talked about betterment and doing it properly. It go underwater. You know, it needs to be done to a standard that we can't criticise highways for not doing it properly if we don't do our own bit as well as that. And number two comment, historically that area in front of Millermore is hard to handle, and we need to write in a risk profile for that. Compaction levels, and there is engineering, telling everybody else there is a serious engineering dramas with that section of ground.
It'd be worthwhile, very much worthwhile, having a conversation with Councillor McCloskey about the difficulties of that particular bit of state highway.
Always very wet on the
Yes, yeah, and there's been some attempts to move water away from it. And
the compaction rates that Roads New South Wales will ask you to get, in some opinions, are impossible.
Councillor Bruce.
Just a question. Considering the busyness of the roadworks, I'm assuming that 5 mile power out of Bungamore Road won't be getting repaired anytime soon.
Depends on approval first, because it'll be in AJRN 1034, but it's one of the ones, it's in the Warren area, and I'm actually only talking about Warren area, and the Flood Restoration Special Projects Manager and the RIM are still trying to work out the ones in the Warren area to add to that list. But Mr. Mayor, keep us informed about the state of it, so we can send a grader out to just make sure it's safe all the time, please.
Through you, that's why I'm commenting again, because it's getting very bad again. The gravel's come back out of those holes.
Bungamore Road. No, so it's not far off, yeah, what's how far off the highway? 3 or 4 days? 4 days. 4 kilometres off that highway.
Thank you.
The other obvious, in terms of logistic questions, your program to move as much gravel from Toucan first before you start any patching anywhere on the Evans Road, but in terms of trucks, heavy trucks coming out from Michael Lane Road, get the gravel out first before we start addressing. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that help there. Any further comments, questions regarding the works progress report pertaining to roads, item 1 of the Divisional Engineering Services report? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against, carried. Item 2, works progress report pertaining to town services. Someone happy to move that recommendation as well, please? Councillor Bruce, happy to move. Thank you. Councillor Barrett, happy to second. Thank you, Councillor Bruce.
Just moving recommendation.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 2? Commission Engineering Services report pertaining to town services?
Mr. Mayor, Collie Bore been inspected, same problem as every other one. Full of driller's mud, screens half covered. Arrangements now made to get completely clean it out. And no promises, but investigations happening to see whether we've got any come back on any of these people who did our bores.
Council, remember that was an oversight matter from external to council. When all those bores were done and work done with bore plate, etc. So, yeah, just keeping on top of things that are done has been proving a little bit difficult when things come back, unfortunately, to not to the standard we perhaps would have thought they may well have been done. Councillor Wiley.
The long-term plan is still to change the pumping system and bring the water to the top to a tank and then transfer it to the column.
Yes.
That hasn't changed.
No. It's just the bore, the screens at the bottom, is just the assessment of the bore is not what we would have liked to have seen.
So that's been causing the
potentially as part of the issue causing pumps to fail. Yeah. That was a time ago that work was done, but it's not standing up as well as we would have liked in terms of the board itself. Any further comments, questions regarding the item 2 of the Division Manager of Engineering Services report of town services? Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour? Against, carried. Moving on to item 3, Duty Manager Engineering Service Report pertaining to the fleet and the workshop. Someone happy to move that recommendation? Councillor Kinsey, happy to move, thank you. Second. Councillor Derrick, happy to second, thank you. Councillor Kinsey.
Good. Another comment, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. Well, my question is that the freight line has been out of action for 12 days. What, is that there was a delay with the servicing or what?
Problem with the gearbox, or
Gearbox.
between Freightliner of Germany and the dealer, they're trying to work it out.
So it's back in service now? No. Still on. And is that affecting our operations significantly? Yeah.
Well, it's loaded 2 contractors at the top end. So they're fronting loader and him, but they're working.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
it'd be nice to have a third one up there.
Yeah, exactly. And we got a time frame for it to be back on track at all?
Works coordinator's been annoying them daily.
So, I guess. Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding the workshop? Nothing further, put that, all those in favour? Against, carried. Item 4, relating to the Duty Manager Engineering Service Report relating to the fish release. Someone have to move that recommendation. The information you received, no. Councillor Derrick's happy to move that, thank you. Second. Councillor Bruce, thank you. Councillor Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to move the recommendation. It's a fantastic initiative that's been running for a long time and obviously continues to capture large crowds. So it's fantastic for the workers. Thank you.
Good photos and good coverage of that particular event. Excellent. Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 4? Any further, put that all those in favour? Against, carried. Moving on to the reports of the Manager of Health and Development Service. First of those being the government application approvals. Someone has to move that recommendation. Those 2 approvals. The information we received noted. Thank you, Councillor Brewer, happy to move that. Second, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Brewer.
I just one question on the stop the clocks. If you don't mind, will they start on that date? That the stop the clock is from that 15th of the 12th, 23, or what's that about? Like,
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, that's the date of the approval.
they need approval. Okay. So how does that affect? So it's received on the, let's say the last one, 10th to 11th. There's a stop the clock for 14 days, and then it was subsequently approved. So that's 2 different line items, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 1 of the Manager of Health and Development Services report? There goes. Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour? Against, carried. Item 2, Works Progress Report, Manager of Health and Development. Someone have to move the recommendation there, noting that there's some asterisk items to be deleted. Those asterisk items relate to some funding that was being used and well used. Just looking for a mover in the seconder there. Thank you, Councillor Whiteley's happy to move. Second. Councillor Barrett. Councillor White.
I commend the report and note the asterisk, ones that have been acquitted. And ask for any comment from the divisional manager.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, not unless anyone has any questions.
Mr. Mayor, we haven't, I'll confirm with the manager, but we haven't asked us the solar panel installation in Swings building because you might add more on top of the new roof. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, correct.
So the one at the top of page 6.
Anything further on item 2, Manager Health and Development Services report? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to item 10 on our agenda. There are no notices of motion or questions with notice. Are there, on item 11, are there any matters of urgency that deserve council's consideration at this time? I don't have any.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
There is.
I do.
So,
We have, sadly with the passing of Councillor Ronald Higgins, there's some actions that we need to take in relation to the loss of a councillor and what could progress. So there's an item there, actions on the passing of Councillor Ronald Higgins. The situation is that that gives us a resolution to formally acknowledge his work, his community work, his council work, and his staff work. The other part is that we need to make sure that we request permission of the Minister for Local Government to not have a by-election to replace Councillor Higgins. And these the reasons. That's the whole lot, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. There's not any more. Yeah. And I commend that recommendation to the council, please.
someone happy to move that recommendation? Councillor Brewer moves, second Councillor Kinsey. Councillor Brewer.
I'm happy with that, the way that's worded, thank you.
Thank you. So councillor, this will be sent off to the Minister for Local Government, and with his concurrence we'll continue with 11 council laws until the September 24 election. So a quorum is a little tighter, but nonetheless, it makes sense to not have to hold a by-election when we can avoid that cost. So, Councillor Kinsey.
Just out of interest, Mr Mayor, what would it cost to do that by-election?
Anywhere between 22 and 30,000.
I believe we can function, and the generation, I believe we can function as it is until the next election. So,
Yeah, it's really unnormal.
yeah, that's exactly, and that's we're well within that 18-month time period, of course. Any further? We just need council's concurrence that that was the right course of action to take on this matter. So, any further comments, questions on that matter of urgency raised by the General Manager? If that's the case, we'll put that all those in favour. Against? Carried. Utility and then consider that matter? Yeah.
Yeah.
Committee of the whole closed council. Council, we might adjourn for morning tea. When we come back, we'll move into committee of the whole closed council to consider the matter that's in front of us there. So, meeting adjourned, and for morning tea. Councillors, we'll resume our ordinary meeting, but we'll move into committee of the whole closed council. To do that, we need a resolution to proceed into committee of the whole closed council, and then a second resolution to exclude the press and the public from that meeting. Someone happy to move those two matters? Thank you, Councillor Brewer, Councillor Taylor. I'll put those together. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Councillors, we're now in committee of the whole closed council. You all have the business paper in front of you there. I declare that meeting now open, and call for apologies to that meeting.
We've got Councillor McCloskey, Walker, and Jackson.
Someone happy to move those three apologies? Councillor Bruce is happy to move that. Second, and Councillor Kinsey. With that, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Move on to item 3 on the agenda, which is the committee the confirmation of the minutes of the last committee of the whole closed council. We held on the was held on the 7th of December, 23. Someone happy to move it? So we'll make a record of that meeting. Councillor Bruce, Councillor Taylor. Any comments, questions regarding those minutes before we put them? Nothing further. With that, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 4, the agenda is disclosure of interest. I don't believe we can receive. Move on to item 5, the report, which is the report of the General Manager pertaining to the upgrade of the swimming pool amenities and facilities. There's a recommendation there in front of us, but I guess the right way to go is to move that someone to move that recommendation and have some discussion. Is that would be the normal events? Someone happy to move that recommendation? Councillor White is happy to move. Second. Councillor King, thank you. I might just defer to the General Manager first for an explanation, and then we can ask further questions if that sits well with councillors.
What we did within what Joe did within the specification and tender documents was ask them for areas of reduction to the specs, to the actual design, and using that, we've been able to get down to a reasonable amount, but still over the available funding. And what happened was the state government gave us that money. The only project of that order, and all that was the pool. We always knew that within a high chance it was $1 million job, not an $850,000 job. And Joe did attempt to try to make sure that what had to happen was trying to stay within budget, but we always knew it was probably closer to $1 million than 856. And we knew that there was a chance we'd have to use some of the infrastructure money. Kerry Jones actually got his estimate pretty close for once. And he thought it was about a 990. And it's really probably worked out to be about a 1.1, which we've been able to reduce. We are using as much of the existing foundation and the front brick walls. There's extensions of the foundation. Of course, they have to cut into the foundation to put new plumbing and plumbing things in. But for 1.1 million, it's going to be a pretty good building. I don't see. There's a $75,000 thing in there that's for disability. In the end, guess what? If you renew a building, refurbish a building of this size, we're supposed to put in disability. That's the only area that's a maybe, and I don't think it's a maybe anymore.
So if we're keeping that part of the original structure, doesn't it become a refurb rather than a refurb?
No, it's such a major refurb that it needs to be actually
Fully compliant.
yeah. That's the
What you're saying, Andrew.
Oh no, I want to get rid of 75,000, but we can't, because sadly, to make it even worse, it will be a dust collector and a storage room in 5 years' time, because no one will use it, so we have to put it there.
So that's the piece that Gary's talking about there is on the splash park end of the building.
And that we already asked to, but that
Yeah, well,
could
I
help.
know it, yeah, potentially can happen. And so, just to be compliant, that's an extra, what's that, 75 grand that puts into it.
Oh, it doesn't even take 75,000 off the need to put in 323.
Yeah.
But look, Joe has been happy with the contractor at the library.
So precinct are the guys who are doing the library extension, and that's one project we're not having too many difficulties with, in that the infrastructure projects manager is really happy with the way they're performing, so he's really quite confident and comfortable to engage these guys to do the work in the swimming pool. And you can see the big difference in variation, double plus is the next, the only other tender. And so, it's a matter of, in my view, we've got 850, we've used about 40 odd of that in preliminary work, etc., planning. If we add some out of the infrastructure reserve, add some money to that and get a building that's going to serve another 50 years, that is money well spent. We're going to have to buy the bullet at some stage on that building. When we've got 856, less than what we spent, so 815 or so against what's available. It's silly to look a gift horse in the mouth of it and say, well, we're going to return that money. I think we just need to, I know it doesn't sit easily with any of us, but add to that fund, get the building we need to have, with some work being done by Joe in terms of having reduced a lot of the costs.
Marianne and Joe.
To end up with something that we promised as well to the swimming club that they'd have a club room. That was part of the whole.
It's not a clubhouse, it's a club room.
It's not exactly. So those sort of things. So Councillor Brewer was first, and then Councillor Bruce.
Mr. Mayor, I'm looking at table 1, in which we are looking at changes to the options there to make savings, and I applaud the fact that there've been so many savings found. I just wonder about line 7, which is deleting the air conditioning units. is there another plan for air conditioning, or just going to say, too bad guys, you've got a pool, get in the water? Like, it's going to be hot.
That's correct. I think at least 2 out of 3 aren't required well and truly.
Right, so this is not blowing them all away. There is still some, staff immunity there.
The air conditioning systems aren't required. The 3 we're removing aren't required.
Okay, so there's not all of them going.
No, I'm not prepared to say that. I think there's 3 out of 3, and they're not required.
Because what other rooms are there? I'm thinking of the staff, if they're not in the kiosk or the office, or the first aid or the reception or the swimming club rooms, where are the staff sitting in the day?
Can I just ask a currently, what is that? Because I know they've got pedestal in the kiosk area.
Yep,
And they don't currently have air conditioning, and it's all very open.
So they do have an evaporative,
Right.
yep, directly above where you walk through to enter the building.
So will they have one? The staff?
Now, let me check.
We just confirm that, Councillor, so we are very clear. News media and news sources has a view about what, so, yeah, in that.
Mr. Mayor, apart from the rooms mentioned there, there's change rooms and there's toilets, which still have definitely.
Is there any air conditioning left? No air conditioning. Okay. Thank you. And if there was needed some air conditioning needed for the staff, would you need 10 less? No, there's no air conditioning, and 10 grand would be needed to add air conditioning.
So it's got 13 here, is that? Anyway, we're not that far out there.
That's been removed.
Yeah, right. So, but if we're saying we need to leave that in,
I don't know. If we do that, we have to change everything here, and we may not get a resolution on it today because it's a funding shortfall.
Getting a 10,000 to
change the number.
change the number.
I wouldn't. Your place will put it, and it's by design. It's in the hottest part of the year because it's a pool. I wouldn't work in an office with air conditioning in Warren in summer. Yeah, rocks compared. Yeah. Surely that's it.
I'd ask Joe to come down and answer all these questions if you can. We're going to get to it.
You split systems for
Yeah.
2 grand, 3 grand.
I'm just going to say to the club room area. Yeah, I don't know what the expectation is of the swimming club.
You said that earlier.
Yes. Without them being aware.
That consultation with them to start with.
I can't believe that agreed.
I'm not too sure.
I know, I'm not going to have to talk about that. I would like to.
Need 6 or 7,000. Need 6 or 7,000.
I can't see how we can proceed without, it's some sort of budget for air conditioning.
Someone's just been looking through
Yeah, no, I understand.
the specifications.
We could have put them the whole lot back for 13,290. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
See it.
I'm not sure we need to do that, but
Just said, look, there's the club room, no air conditioning anymore. You're correct, the 13,290, I thought it was 30,000, but it was 13,290 removes all the air conditioners in the kiosk, office, and first aid, and the reception and swimming club rooms. If you think air conditioners there, you have to find 13,290. You find 13,290 by adding it to the 323,000.
5%.
Knowing there's 50,000 of contingency.
Yeah, that's not how you manage a project though.
I understand, but knowing that there's 50,000 contingency.
Well, what we're asking for essentially is a 5% increase in the 30,000 to get the air conditioning at 13,000 extra.
Yeah, you add 13 to 90 to
About 5%, 4%.
And to Councillor, you won't just quite hear it, to Councillor Derrick's question regarding the swimming pool, swimming club room, and do they have an expectation that their area will be air conditioned?
I put it back to myself, I would,
Yeah.
but you have to think of yourself, I would. There could be 15 people in there having a meeting.
Yeah. So, would you envision, would that be part, no, that'd be additional to the 13,290?
No, 13 to 90 is all air conditioning.
Oh, okay, right, okay, yeah, thank you. That's good. So I think the consensus is we add that 13,290 back in. Yeah, I think so.
We've already blown out, it's another 4 and a bit % on top of that 300,000.
So there's no other footprint changes from that big discussion we had at the last morning.
The footprint stays the same, except there'll be that additional area at each end for the swimming club room.
Yeah.
And the disabled area.
Yeah, on the other.
Is a plan on here? There's a print. No, I don't think it's in here. Is it? There's a print that actually a floor plan for one of the.
Yeah, we went through that.
Yeah. So there's concrete extra at each end, as I understand it.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
13 grand is the percentage, that's not here or there. The weighting that Joe's put on these guys, time frame 90, 85 and 80, the relevant experience, etc. Is 100% positive.
He is because he's been very happy with what they've done at the.
That's the corporate risk to us. Is that not happening?
Time-wise, what there is he believes after further discussions that first week in September is okay. Yeah.
The issue is we haven't got the time frame for us
To
to go in and then put them back another month. Basically, that's what the issue is, Councillor Whiteley.
I personally have confidence in Joe, and they've got runs on the board. It's the other company I don't want their prices out, but I've never heard of it. But that's the 2 or 3% that we might go under or over, or the 50,000 contingency. In my opinion, is relatively minor, as long as we make a decision and they get the job done.
And also too, if you trust with Joe's opinion, you've got to get it right. Don't muck stuff up.
The upside, if we were to accept the tender from precinct, is that we know what we're getting in terms of the quality, whereas we're second guessing if we go with someone else. And if we go back to another tender, for instance, we're going to be putting it off 12 months again. There's no guarantee that the precinct will still be around, happy to do the work for that particular price, in my view. And the second thing is, we might get anyone who's any better than that we've seen what the other one was 2.6 or something. You know, there's no guarantees if we went to tender again that we're going to get any better results. So I think we sit here now having really to make a decision.
His report, Mr. Mayor, parts to analyse to make sure that Concept's dollars is actually appropriate, and he believes that. that you don't just say, oh, he's the best tenderer and we can fund it. Are they even the first tender are ripping us off? And the report kind of analyses that they're not ripping us off.
Yeah. So if that decision's made and we're confident with that process, the only other decision, possibly one of a few percent air conditioner, is that we're all happy to come out of that, the extra come out of that budget. 2 or 3% here or there, you know, frosting on glass or stuff. That's not for here and there.
So with the mover and second's permission, can I adjust it slightly so you know what you're doing? Jody, change that figure to 1,089,888.58. We'll check and change that to be 336,699.72. And in the where it says for the rescope work of number 2, works, after work say with air conditioning to be included. And Joe's just going to do a final little report to the Sporting Facilities Committee to make sure everything's right. Just so they know.
What, before the tender's actually awarded?
Just to make sure that everyone understands the little changes that we've done. To Monday, they'll be engaged, I'm afraid, because we don't want them, they need to know they've got it so they can organise themselves.
So there's almost no point taking it to the Sporting Facilities Committee. There's nothing they can do.
There is if there's a $50,000 contingency, but there's a word it's called. We are not just. Don't forget that the Sporting Facilities Committee is in this room anyway, but they can delve down closer.
But they can't change anything much. And you're not seriously considering touching contingency on day one. That's absolute madness. Again, that's not how you run the project.
I just know that
you go in day one knowing you're going to hit the contingency. That's crazy.
That's how he works. I just know that the contingency is not as badly warranted as we would normally do. But there's a special saying. We're actually just not doing for the sake of it, but we're just making sure everyone's aware of what's happening.
Look, I'm taking on very much on the point, Andrew, that probably not much can be done, but if there's an awareness straight up front that something's not kosher, at least we've got the ability to say to the something here that's not quite right. We've accepted your tender, you're going to fulfil this obligation, you know, what the specs are. So I think it's probably not completely wasted. You know, we've seen projects.
There's a meeting anyway.
Yeah, we're having a meeting.
Yeah. Councillor Taylor's coming back. He told me.
Have you got enough more? I'm going to be absent too, so.
They'd be sure.
There we go. Right, good. Councillors, look, not what we ideally want in terms of budget, but I take very much on board. There's a couple of things that hopefully the roof line can be salvaged and used in an animal show.
I told them that, didn't
The second part of it is that as the general manager was alluding to in our information session, the possibility of profits being generated elsewhere to replenish that infrastructure reserve fund is reasonable. And not forgetting that that whole infrastructure reserve fund came about because of a profit that was made from some road work. So
from the very beginning.
From the beginning.
You've got a whole new question happening there, so you've just.
Councillor Whiteley?
You see it, but has there been an asbestos assessment of the current building?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, we do have an assessment, an asbestos report, on that building.
We have to do a little bit.
It's not, the way I read it wasn't as threatening as it could have been in terms of asbestos.
But plus the staff and the contractor are trained in it.
Situated councillors, any further discussion required? No, do it, get on with it. Yep.
Joe's just got to move his tent a little bit up the street. The joke with Joe and myself was that he had to have a tent outside the amenities building.
You put it in between so you can look at it.
No, that's a good idea.
I missed you over there at 4 a.m. on the call, Councillor Kinsey and Councillor McCloskey. I thought both of you would have been there helping. Joe and I were there.
You don't get in a row of two engineers.
All right, Joe, I think you probably stressed out on the day anyway, on the night.
I think we have a distinct advantage of an infrastructure project manager who is very conscientious, and that makes me feel much more comfortable than might otherwise feel. And the fact that Precinct's doing a good job at the library, Joe's happy, makes me more comfortable with him. I think just fight forward and get it done, get started, get out the other end, get finished. Any further comments, questions then? The newer recommendation, Greg, you read it, didn't you? Yeah. The second was Councillor Kinsey. Yeah, sorry, yeah. So slightly Kinsey, and you're happy with those now, and minor amendments to the budget? Yep. Any further comments, questions? Sorry, before we go any further, that dollar amount remains confidential. The dollar amount that we're putting in remains.
Oh, no, not anymore. The way the report's written, that's it.
Yeah,
but everything that's going to come out, that will come out,
yeah.
But that's the budget. The contractor can see that,
yeah,
that's what's been finalised.
Yes, we're happy with all that, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Originally, it was going to be, but it doesn't need to be anymore.
You're right, okay. Take that back. So with the mover and seconders endorsement, we're happy to put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Are there any other matters that people, Councillor Christie, to raise within this committee of the whole close council while we have a confidential session? Councillor Whiteley.
Just one question on the other building. What was the were you going to put a floating floor? The problem with your slope?
No, it's almost, it's not an epoxy like
leveler.
It's some sort of material to level it, Joe's still pushing that, and they're thinking of tiling could be cheaper and better any than what they're considering, but what they're considering, they have to really prove, it's almost like an epoxy, but not quite. And someone has to show evidence of it working elsewhere, otherwise we're telling tile.
But, was there any consideration of the floor you put in the toilet block with the bracelet?
That's epoxy, it can be dearer. Yeah. And yes, that's another option. This is their third option, but we like tiling.
The consideration of the easiness of cleanliness. So the racecourse epoxy, basically, it's pressure wash, or how do you?
Oh, it would be, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
So there's three options. Their option, tiling we really like, and then this epoxy in the middle.
You should realise, as you can imagine, that all that frame was up, that's still a frame, and then they're trying to pour concrete all around through the frame and up to the base of the frame. The chances of getting that correct weren't great, but the degree of skill of some of these fellows wasn't, in Joe's view, as great as it could have been, and they didn't have enough people on hand to really actually do it as well as they might have, is the way I'm understanding.
Only positive about it is 410 millimetres concrete there.
So when we go back to the bottom line with the dollars, this is going to be disastrous for the contractor,
Yes.
and we still to the power. We haven't paid them all the money.
Is it classed as defective in terms of the standard? Or
Yes. That's what he's pretty well, or in the emails to them, that's what he's referring to.
And we had that report from Barneson's initially saying it's nowhere near the MPA and the contractor starts, and then we saw those photographs of the piers, full of rubbish, full of soft, So it's defective right from the start, so that's, the contractor's entirely aware of that, and from my understanding, trying to work with Joe to just get the result that we require.
Yeah.
It's all right, Mr. Mayor, can I bring up another thing? With the buildings, so obviously the court case is in March for those two buildings around there.
Mediation.
Yeah. Where's your fallback point, or what are you aiming at with that mediation?
At least $1.3 million worth of compensation to us, and could be even more.
But physically?
Or demolish the houses and start again, and pay for Joe to be in another nice house. That's pretty low, isn't it? The questions I'm starting to ask, the affidavits are that thick, right? So this weekend, we're having another read of the affidavits, but so far we aren't getting the blame. That's your summary of it, isn't it?
Yes. Yep.
And I'm also waiting for some advice of why isn't someone's a professional indemnity insurer also starting to be involved? Because that's their fallback position, using someone's professional indemnity insurance. And so why aren't they involved in the mediation too? We're checking to see whether we need to increase our initial claim because of time. We in our own mind feel that there was only that much toucan underneath. We've dug in Joe's house and underneath the pad is only that much, and that doesn't affect the any calculations of what should have been built on top, foundation-wise. If it's bigger than that, it may, but the toucan material is at 300 millimetres thick is no difference as if it was but if it's over 400 millimetres, it should have been taken into account, and we've proved that it's only about that. People's memory fades, and the grower operator thought that it was actually more than he actually did. That's what we think, but we haven't said anything about that.
Line,
But just because we don't need to.
don't need to line it, didn't have.
No. Haven't said anything about what material or thickness there is. We haven't done an affidavit on that. Bottom line is that they've done not an ED, they did a D, one below that, two below that in the design. Two below
Did you
ED.
meet design criteria for an M site?
And inside.
An M site, yeah.
And because you know our reputation is shot when it shouldn't needed to be. We haven't done anything wrong. The designers have. Our bloke says this should have been all done correctly, not the way they've done it. There's 300 millimetres maximum of toucan proved by us to be underneath Joe's house, 23 or 23. They've thrown in at 8 that they think that there's actually a drainage problem that's causing at least at 8. So that's where Higgins Plumbing comes in. That's not us. Don't say that to anybody. And so far, do you see that no one's blaming us yet?
No.
Of their experts? No, that's where I was coming at trying to, you know, what you're going to be surprised at in that mediation.
Or if they file for bankruptcy as a result of not being able to pay the 1 point whatever million,
We get 850,000 from the insurance on the houses. We go and demolish it ourselves and do what we need to do. I think it's 410 and 410, isn't it? Something like that.
Yes.
Which is not what we want. It's the next one down, but. Think about that, think we have to read. I think we've got a good solicitor anyway.
Yes.
Very good. Any further comments? Sorry, not comments. Any further questions? As we committee hold for council? Nothing further. Then I'll seek the indulgence of those who move this into committee of the whole closed council. Can we move us out again? Thank you, councillors Allen,
Brewer and Taylor.
Yep.
And that's at, what time, Joe? 11:21, you have it? There's a chance that we're recording anyway, which we'll have to cut off. No, it'll be